You're tuned in to Pyrocryptic X News, daily crypto coverage on the networks that matter. XRP, XLM, XDC, and many others. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Pyrocryptic News. It's April 19th, 2025, and our headline today focuses on XDC Network. Investors are definitely watching, eyeing a potential price surge, especially with these connections being discussed around R3 Corda and the DTCC.
Yeah, there's a lot swirling around XDC right now. We've seen some interesting analyses lately.
Exactly. We've got YouTube analyst Lee the Captain, who's laid out some pretty bullish arguments.
Right. He's got those three main points: strong growth potential, solid fundamentals for XDC, and, generally favorable market conditions right now.
And he's not shy with his prediction, is he? A $3 target?
No, not at all. $3 per XDC. That's quite a leap from where it is now, something like a 33x increase.
Wow. How does he justify that kind of target?
Well, he puts it in context. He talks about a potential $45 billion market cap and compares that to, say, Dogecoin's peak, which was over $80 billion,
Right.
or even XRP's value.
Okay, so he sees it playing in that league eventually.
He seems to, yeah. And he links it to the overall growth in crypto users globally. We've gone from maybe 300 million back in 2021 to, 600 million now?
That doubling of users must create demand pressure.
That's the idea. More users needing assets. And he sees XDC hitting a sweet spot bigger than the microcaps, but maybe with more room to grow than established giants like BNB or Solana.
And XDC has its specific niche too, right? International trade and finance.
Exactly. That's its core focus. So it's competing in a space with players like XRP, XLM, maybe XCN.
But Lee's point is that XDC hasn't quite seen that huge adoption yet, unlike some others.
Correct. Which from an investment perspective can signal potential upside. If it fulfills its promise in that trade finance area, there's significant ground it could gain.
Makes sense. What about the favorable market conditions you mentioned?
Well, there's a historical pattern, around Bitcoin halvings. Altcoins tend to peak maybe 18 months or so after a halving event.
And the last halving was April 2024.
Right. So we're sort of in that potential window now heading into late 2025. That momentum could build.
Plus, if Bitcoin itself keeps climbing, people are throwing out big numbers like $150K, $200.
Yeah, even higher sometimes. Charles Hoskinson mentioned figures up to 500,000, though that's very optimistic. But yeah, a rising Bitcoin price generally lifts the whole market. More liquidity flows in.
So that rising tide could definitely help XDC. Lee sounds pretty convinced.
Oh, absolutely. His quote was something like, "Choosing XDC is an obvious decision for me." He's sticking firm to that $3 target for this cycle.
Okay, so that's the price analysis angle. But then there's this other thread. The R3 Corda and DTCC connection. We saw a TikTok from Utility Crypto way back in March 23 talking about this possibility.
Yeah, suggesting XDC might be used for settlement, specifically with R3 Corda.
And R3 Corda is significant because...
Because they were chosen by the DTCC, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. I mean, these guys handle the clearing and settlement for almost all securities trades in the U.S. It's huge financial infrastructure.
So any link there is potentially massive news.
Exactly. Which brings us to this newer piece, the Knox Networks white paper from just this month, April 2025.
Right. What are they focused on?
Interoperability, making different distributed ledger technologies, DLTs, work together. And crucially, they specifically mention connectivity with R3 Corda.
Ah, okay. So they're building bridges, potentially.
That seems to be the goal. They have this concept, file-based digital assets, FBDAs. It's about representing all sorts of assets digitally in a standard way.
To manage transactions across different systems, like traditional finance and new digital ones.
Precisely. Unifying things. So their interoperability layer is designed to connect networks like potentially XDC with networks like R3 Corda.
So connecting the dots here, Knox could be the pathway if R3 Corda is linked to DTCC, and Knox can link XDC to R3 Corda.
It suggests a potential route for XDC to integrate more deeply with that established financial plumbing. It's not confirmed DTCC use, obviously, but the technological capability seems to be developing.
Interesting. So you've got the analyst, bullishness, the market cycle potential, XDC's specific niche.
And then layered on top, these potential institutional connections via R3 Corda and DTCC, possibly enabled by tech like Knox Networks is building.
It does paint a compelling picture, doesn't it? That convergence.
It certainly makes XDC one to watch. You have the price predictions, the fundamental focus on trade finance, and these hints of broader integration.
So summing up, there's a case being made for significant price growth, and simultaneously, technological pathways are emerging that could link XDC into traditional finance in a major way.
Yeah, that seems to be the core narrative forming.
Of course, it's vital for everyone listening to remember none of this is financial advice. We're just discussing the information out there. Always do your own research.
It's absolutely critical. Due diligence is key in this space.
But it does move you thinking, if these institutional links, maybe through R3 or facilitated by tech like Knox, actually do solidify, how would that truly change the game for a network like XDC, especially given its roots in trade finance? How might those two worlds, decentralized tech and traditional finance, really start working together? Something to ponder.
That's it for today on Pyrocryptic X News. Stay sharp, stay informed, and catch the next drop right here.